Boom. What's up, everyone? And today is an important day for me. Today I checked out my YouTube channel, and guess what? I am at 99 subscribers, which is fantastic because it's still feedback nonetheless. It's been 2 weeks since I started this, and yeah, things are going well. If you heard that, that's my cat. Now, each of us has a friend, right? We have this friend that we know of that probably seems to be able to eat everything and anything they want. They can get away with eating an entire pizza. They can get away with eating all they want, and they will never gain half a pound. Nothing. They gain nothing. They seemingly food just goes through them. Then on the other hand, there's one of our friends that unfortunately, and it could be you, when you think of food, when you smell a donut, boom, you're 100 kilos up. Then there's us, there's other normal people that basically they're in between, yada. They don't really seem to struggle to put on fat. They don't struggle to lose the weight. They're just in betweeners. What am I talking about? I am talking about somatotypes. Now, according to Google, a somatotype is a category to which people are assigned according to the extent to which their bodily physique conforms to a basic body type. That's just a very complicated way of saying that there are certain body types that people have that the majority of population falls under, and they can be categorized into three. And there are the three major ones, which are basically endomorphs, ectomorph, and mesomorphs. First one I want to talk about is the ectomorph. Now, the ectomorph is a predominantly skinny looking person. They have skinny features. They have like the extremities. They're not very heavy boned. They may also not put on weight as easily. They don't carry a lot of body fat on them or even musculature. They seemingly, most of them usually look like athletes. They look like the traditional long distance runner. That is how you define, that's a basic idea of what an ectomorph is. That's your ectomorph. Now, the mesomorph, that's mes for muscle. You can think of it like that. The mesomorph typically comes with slightly more muscle than normal. They don't struggle too much to put on weight. They don't struggle too much to cut the weight. Basically, this is your typical bodybuilder type physique type of person. They look like that. Now, the last one is the endomorph. Now, the endomorph has a high propensity for being for carrying around a lot, a high body fat content, and for that reason, they're typically big people. They don't really struggle to put on weight. It's almost as if it just happens for them, right? Now, why I decided to talk about this is that there's a lot of misconceptions towards how these somatotypes work. For starters, somatotypes are not something you can look at and decide that you can tell where a person falls under. What I mean by that is this. Just because you find a person is a definite endomorph, where you look at them and they're like, say, these people using the States for 400 lb life, maybe they're super huge, super whatever. You can't look at a person like that and decide they're definitely overeaters and they're lazy and they never work out and that's why they're like that. No, you might be right, but you cannot look at a person and decide they're somatotype. Same way you cannot look at a person who's skinny, lanky, yada, and decide they just don't eat, they're anorexic, yada. You cannot do that. Somatotypes are not something you decide to become. They're an underlying genetic predisposition. That's the best way to put it. So with this in mind, you need to understand that it's not that everyone or anyone is in one direct category. We are all inside that, the spectrum. It's a spectrum of in the somatotypes, and I think it ranges between 1 and 10. So basically, you could be a 1 on the endomorph scale and a 2 on the other scale, yada. So all of us fall in different categories of these somatotypes. So somatotypes alone, just because you've decided you're this somatotype, cannot be used to determine how you train. Okay, so just because you feel you're an ectomorph, right? That doesn't mean you're supposed to train super heavy and overeat simply because you want to gain weight and be bigger. And similarly, just because you feel you're an endomorph and you're massive and you have a lot of fat on you and you're probably trying to go over to the other side, that now you need to be going and running on marathons. I was confirming I'm recording. For starters, it's not gonna happen. Every body type trains the same way. And when I say the same way does not mean there's a certain number of reps you're supposed to be hitting, there's a certain number of kilometers you should be running simply because of your body type. No, that's not how it works. How it works is this. If you know that you're an endomorph or you feel like you're an endomorph, forget about that fact. That's a disposition you have. Kind of like the same way I can't change the fact that I'm short. So since you can't change that disposition, what you do is that you pick a direction and you pick a focus, you pick a target, a goal. and you chase that goal regardless of the fact that you are, or you may assume that you are, an endomorph. Because either way, muscle and fat loss happens in the exact same way regardless of where on the somatotypes you fall. Before I even go too far, there's this class of people that usually think that simply because, say, an ectomorph decided to work out, they put on the size, they grew bigger, now that just by looking at them, you can't decide that they're still an ectomorph, that now the whole somatotype theory becomes a theory and it does not exist. And that is some low resolution thinking, because just because you take yourself from this position life-wise or this situation and change it to another does not mean you don't still have the propensity to go there. Take me, for example. I'm a short dude. I'm not changing that. I've been working out for quite a number of years now. 3 years, with common sense, the rest just on and off. As much as I've tried, and I've really tried to put on size, like ridiculous amounts of size, I cannot. I've just only moved from 57 kilos to 71, which I'm actually very proud of. Now, realistically speaking, if I wanted to lose all that weight, for me, it comes ridiculously easy. And that's because of the propensities I have, right? So everyone has tendencies on either part of the spectrum. Now, you cannot change your somatotype, but you can definitely change your body composition. So you can, if you're a bigger, so if you're a bigger person, what you want to do is taper down how you're eating, taper it down, lose the weight. If you're a smaller person, basically gain the weight as much as you can and be healthy. That's the most important part. Be healthy and be kind to yourself. Also, be honest with yourself. Some people decide that their genetics, that they are big boned, is the reason why they can't achieve some things, which holds true for some things. But your genetics cannot stop you from being the best version of you. They can't. Your genetics cannot stop you from being the best version of you. Your genetics literally are built for you to become the best version of you. It is you that decides to become substandard. Regardless of whatever body type you have, you should always train harder than last time. That's it. There is no special thing that you're supposed to do because you have a certain body type. Now, obviously, this is to be taken with a bit of common sense. You have to use your head. And with this in mind, if you're an ectomorph, you're one of those hard gainers, say you can't gain much muscle, say you can't seem to put on weight. Obviously, that means that even if you were to put on weight, you're not going to put on a ridiculous amount. Don't start force feeding and yada yada yada, because all these things have a genetic limit, cut points to them. So just eat right, train right, and get the best body you can. If you're a mesomorph, now you're the kind of person that has very many advantages, because you could easily pack on muscle, you could easily cut down. These are the kind of people that end up being bodybuilders. Just do what you're doing, you lucky bastard. Now for the endomorph, and this is what I know some people are probably curious about, with the endomorph, it still is not a death sentence, because the fact that your body carries a lot of fat is not a how do I say this? It's not a permanent situation. What I'm trying to say with that is this: if you, even in your endomorph tendencies, eat less and less and less, your body is not going to get fat from thin air. You're definitely going to cut weight. So what you want to do is that realize that you have a propensity towards gaining fat easier than another person. Because at the end of the day, you're not even supposed to be comparing yourself to other people. So now that you know that you have a propensity towards putting on fat easier, taper down, be more mindful than the other person. And then it doesn't mean that now you have to go crazy with your workouts. For crying out loud, the typical endomorph is the kind of person that's capable of weighing 200 kilos easily, 400 pounds for those other people that could be watching. That being said, that does not mean that now you kill yourself with cardio. It means do the best you can. You don't have to run because other people can. I mean, you're carrying around 200 kilos. Nobody's supposed to be running at that weight. Start easy, start walking, go through life at your own pace, right? Now, another thing I wanted to mention about these somatotypes is this: you cannot look at a person and assume to know their somatotype. No. You don't look at a skinny person and decide that person doesn't eat, yada yada yada. Shut up and mind your own business, because you cannot tell a person's character simply by looking at them. And similarly, you can't look at an endomorph and decide that person is lazy, they eat badly, they don't work out, yada yada yada. Sure, you might be right. There's a very high likelihood that you're right, that they're probably not training. But you cannot also just decide for them that they are lazy and that's why their weight is there. Maybe they don't even know that for them, just eating as the average individual would causes them a much higher or much more pronounced reaction. So maybe not, it's not 1500 calories is not 1500 calories for anyone, because everyone has their own set point where the body can hack. Like there's a point where your body, it's a theory actually, I'll tell you, there's a set point where your body wants to be at. It's just that theirs is where they carry a lot of fat, and that's where their body feels it's okay. And it could even be morbid obesity, because trust you me, some people will be at that weight and feel fantastic. Some people will come down to a light weight and life is horrible. They're constantly thinking of food. They're feeling miserable. And yes, it is the healthier option. So what you want to strike is balance. So you do not want to go around throwing labels at people. Yada, yada, yada. No, be kind. Do not do that. So the take-home message here is somatotypes do definitely exist. But no, somatotypes are not limitations with regards to how far you can go, with regards to what your physical goals are. They are not. The only limitations you probably have are like, I cannot change the size of your hips, I cannot change the width of your shoulders, but you can change how your body looks. You can, definitely manipulate your curvatures, yada yada yada. But if you're one of those people that are built with broad shoulders and skinny legs, you're not changing that. You can gain muscle and make it, the illusion look different. You can also broaden your shoulders and make your waist look smaller, but you're not really changing your genetic makeup. What you can do is get the best you can from the cards you've been dealt. At the end of the day, how much you diet, how well you diet and how much you train is going to determine a lot of what you'll look like. It is not your genetics that are going to determine how far you'll go. It's you that will determine how far you'll take your genetics. And intensity doesn't mean that... intensity is not something I can quote out to you and tell you that this is how hard you should train. I can definitely tell you this though. If yesterday you did 10 reps, try for 11. If yesterday you did it in 20 minutes, try do it in 19. Just ideally, what I'm saying is keep growing. Forget about what your genetic predispositions are. If you've decided to become something, become it. Look at it, chase it, focus on it, regardless of your comparisons to other people. Because, every somatotype has an advantage and a disadvantage. I cannot gain weight. That means my strength is also capped at a, lower level than other people. Some people just cannot, cannot lose weight to a point where they are, completely death and bones, because you don't also want to kill yourself over it. So most importantly, be the best version of you, work hard, eat well, like and subscribe to this channel, and share these videos. That's it.